Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go in on PAVS. First of all, we know potential when we see it, and anything that drops from 28 bucks to 20 cents in the last week is going to be on our radar.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check and it's gone.
Hey Johnny, welcome to the Laughing Stock. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. I'm very good, and congratulations.
Yes, New York, baby. Let's go. Finally, been forever. That was an incredible series. Everybody on that team is awesome.
Yeah. And I saw some clips from the streets in New York now.
Oh yeah, everyone's.
It looked wild.
I mean, I'm a little bit north of the city, but I'm sure everyone's going nuts down there. I mean, it's been kind of exciting for the past few weeks, just because once you start to get on a run and then I don't know how closely you follow basketball, but like the previous few series, the Knicks had just won so many games in a row, and then we had some incredible comebacks, and it makes it crazier because kind of like I was telling you, the Knicks in the first half, especially in this last series, just were not hitting. Their numbers were terrible, and then the second half, it's the exact opposite. They just come through. Everybody hits when they need to. Everybody gets a turnover when they need to. Just keeping it together. In the Spurs, their accuracy just falls off especially in the fourth. So it was exciting. It was exciting to finally to see it happen. I mean, it's been way too long.
Yeah. But very cool that you want an even final, and it's not easy to drag it all the way over the line because there's a lot of small margins that's going to play in your favor to manage to do that. So this is it always feels very good then when you finally manage to get the trophy,
Yeah, no, it was exciting. It's exciting. It just, I don't know, for anyone who's been a fan for a long time, it's just been a struggle. And the past few years, it's been building up. And then there's so many good players, and I don't know, just I love the different people on that team. Just everybody's awesome. I know you don't know everybody's who they are and everything, but just the way everything got put together, There's so many games where almost every player, even people coming off the bench, could have had a highlight reel. That's how good people were playing at times. So, sorry if you're a Spurs fan, guys. I know what it's like to be on the other side, because trust me, all my other teams, it's always brutal. So I'm just happy to take one, to finally get that win. And like that team just deserves it. I'm so happy for them. You know, just
Very
everybody.
good. So they have played together for many years, or how is it like a lot of changing?
So like once Brunson got on the team, you know, we got Carl Anthony. They call him Cat. He came back a few years ago, and everything just slowly started to work together. We got Anunoby and all these players. You know, Josh Hart. As they like each person kind of came onto the team, everyone started to find their flow, and then you know the backups. You know, whether it's Shamit or, you know, even Alvarado stepping in, everybody looked good. You know, Mitchell Robinson. So the funny thing about Robinson is he's just historically not a great shooter, but like such like clutch rebounds and stuff at the right time. Just everybody on that team like kind of plays, you know, their part and just played it so well. And I will say the officiating was horrible. I don't like to, you know, keep putting that, you know, on the refs and whatnot, because I know they're whatever, but dude, it was horrible. I mean, I haven't watched such bad officiating in a series. I'm convinced they were going to try and get paid to keep either the series going or someone's paying for the Spurs, but it was terrible. And you know, there's things that they don't see. You know, you look at the replay and like the ref's right there. It's like, how do you not call this? It's insane. But it doesn't matter. They won, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter then. It
Go
feels
next.
even better, probably.
Yeah, I know it really is, because it was like it seemed like all odds against us. Like you couldn't try and build a bigger hole. The like the past like 2 games, like Carl Anthony, who's a big part just because he's one of our bigger guys. Like you need his size and, you know, and him trying to cover like Wembanyama, and he gets into foul trouble like so quickly. And I'm not saying that some of those fouls weren't like right, they were, don't get me wrong, but just how quickly they're calling him, and then other people I see doing the same thing and they're not calling it, and it's, I don't know, that part just gets frustrating. But that's all sports, you know how that is.
Yeah, it is true. Like there was just a comparison. My local team here in football, they bought a player that had a reputation from a different country and different league to be a bit rough. And the first game of this season that he played, he got a red card. He got sent off after like 3 minutes. And you know, the referees, they had just focused on him before the game because they understood the reputation and everything.
Yeah.
He was a bit rough by like sending off after 3 minutes. If it was another guy who did exactly the same, it would never happen. So they are influenced by these kind of things. And I've said like, the referees, they also have their favorite teams because they have to be a fan of the sport, or else they would never be referees there, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been thinking like, if you want to get rid of that properly, you're probably never going to get rid of it completely. But for example, if you play football in England, they should have Italian refs or something like that. Spanish refs referee the games.
Someone outside.
And then you should rotate like each year. Then the Italian goes to Spain the next season, and they should have like a system on it. I think you would get rid of speculations and you know, some of these things. And maybe, I don't know how it works in NBA, if it's like, I assume you have certain sets of referees that are doing the big games.
Yes.
And stuff like that, but there's some kind of rotational system on it. You know, you have big leagues now in Europe as well. You could do something similar, you know?
True. Yeah, it's the same for every sport, no matter what. And I think, like, you, to your point too, like the refs do, because the other thing too is, and I've seen this especially because in American football, just because the game's only once a week, like they have nothing to talk about for the whole next week. Every time football's over, all next week, they're just talking about the previous week, and they run out of things to talk about, so they just talk about the same talking points all day on ESPN and whatnot. And it's hard for the refs not to focus, because if something happens to a team or to a player all week, that's all you hear about. So
Yeah, you know they're going to talk about it.
yeah, so the next week they're watching for it. You know what I mean? Because it's like they either missed a call or they made a call and they shouldn't have. So it just gets like hyper focused on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching like after the game, just to see everybody. Shout out to Bridges. I didn't mention him. Everybody played well. It was sick, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, congrats again. And USA also won 4-1 in the World Cup.
Yes. So it's been it was a good week. It was a good week for at least for me for sports. Go USA.
Yeah.
And now
I
because
watched the
the
game.
Knicks, if they went to Game 6, it was going to conflict with the Norway game. So now I'll watch your game, man, on Tuesday.
Yeah, nice. I will be watching too, even if it's late here. I will go out in the city.
It actually works out well here because for me it's 6 p. So that's an easy game to watch.
Oh, nice, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Knicks have not won in how many years did you say?
53 years, dude.
Yeah, it's more than what I'm going to say, but I waited for Norway to come into the World Cup for 28 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to miss any matches now. It's like, when I was a kid, we were in the World Cup in 94 and in 98. And that was the last one. But that was also when I grew up. And then we were in all the World Cups, and then it just stopped. And I remember my father went to one of the classical games in 98 where we beat Brazil. And it's just like a memory that the whole country have that game,
Yeah, of course.
So it's just like been waiting for so long now, and I hope, and we have a good team, but it can go all directions, I think. Because the part I'm not sure about is like these players, they have never been in that kind of tournament before. And they kind of have a history, even though they are good now, they have a history in the last years to not deliver when it counts. So I just hope that's not going to hit them now and that they're going to get a good start. Because if they don't get a good start against Iraq, which is considered the easiest team in the group, they are going to struggle because this is a tough group, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first game out, like you said too, maybe it's good if they're going to play a team to play the worst team, get their confidence up.
Yeah, that's the chance. Like if you beat them like you did with a good amount, you are almost certain to be like amongst the best number threes, and that sends you through to the next stage.
Right.
So it's very important. I think we will beat them, but it can go all the ways.
But yeah, no, now it's exciting,
and also my local team here from this small city that I live in, they have a player that plays on Iraq, so he's going to play against Norway.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the USA, man, they had a lot of good shots too. I mean, there was other good chances. That I was very impressed.
Yeah, they were playing good. Pochettino, your coach or your manager, he's a very good coach. He's been in Europe for a long time and had amongst like the big clubs here. He's very very well respected. So you've done well there to get him. But it's different to coach a national team than the club teams. So I have no idea how good of a job he has done with your team now, but they looked very strong. They looked very well together. And you had also some X-factor players, who can score like pretty good goals. But also Paraguay is not the best team, but to win 4-1 is like probably a bit more than I expected. So you delivered for sure.
Well, and that's the other thing too. If you're, regardless, like if you're playing a team that's not supposed to be great, you should beat them, and you should beat them handily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you did. So, yeah.
Because like same thing, like you're talking about, like when you guys play Iraq, like if you beat them 1-0, like that's okay. Like you beat them, whatever. Like that's still great. But like you want to beat them 3-0. You know what I mean? Like something exactly. You want to really beat them.
That's what I hope. Exactly what you guys did. And I also saw Australia was beating Turkey today 2-0. Which is also in your group. So I think you are through already.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
you need to just not mess up against Turkey and Australia.
The USA never messes up. Look at our track record recently. We can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it has
Speaking
been a
of
good
that,
start. I also watched Mexico win, which is also a host nation, and Canada was 1-1 against Bosnia. Canada had some chances, and they scored a very good goal. So it's been some good games. Brazil-Morocco was 1-1 today, or midnight here.
yeah.
So yeah, it's the summer has started.
Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good one. I have a good feeling about this summer.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to real markets. Sorry, guys, it's just like a random sports time that's exciting. So we're just shooting the shit.
And one more thing, Dane, I have to look. I'm not sure if you can see it, but
well, he's got the hardcover. Yeah, you
no,
it's Market Wizards, guys. If you can't tell.
it is. It looks like a spell. You know, the book is invisible.
Yeah, seriously. But
I went through you also, I know, went through the Kulamagi chapter already. I haven't read the entire book.
me
but,
either. I just read that chapter
what-
essentially.
What were your thoughts about it so far?
I mean, like I had, just kind of texted you. I don't think there was a ton new in there, which is, I mean, probably reasonable because how many times has people interviewed Q on what he's doing? So it's like, I don't think. But to be honest, I read that chapter as a preview, and I still haven't really gotten into the book yet. I just been busy this last week, so I haven't got a chance to read a lot. But hopefully I get to go, and I'm going to reread it one more time, just especially because the first time through I didn't really see too much new, but I feel like there's always so many little tidbits in there, and my X page now is literally just from like the few traders that I really follow, and
Yeah.
they're always just throwing out tidbits. Like I wanna throw another shout out to Pradeep. Dude, that guy answers like all the comments on there with like true answers, and they might be short. What?
No, I saw he had an interesting take on a strategy now that I just bookmarked it because I'm gonna check it out a bit later. But yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, it's just there's always like little things. So yeah, I'm excited to get through it. There's a lot of traders I really respect in the book too. So it's gonna be a sick read.
lot.
I'm still excited, even though like I said,
Yeah.
Q's one was kind of like a lot of what I've already known. But that's fine.
Yeah, and also he says in the book, and they talk about it after the chapter as well, that he is very clear that he didn't come up with anything new.
Right.
So there is nothing new there. And
There's only so much to do. It's just finding an edge. It's and that's why lately I've been hardcore focusing on my tracker.
That's kind of what the guy was saying after the chapter as well. Like he said after speaking with him, I thought trading was easy.
Yeah.
But it's not, but you get that feeling also watching Kulamagi's streams. He explained it in that it is an easy way, but that is, I think he does mention it, but he doesn't bother to the nuances and the techniques, like down to the fingertips, that he uses, that he doesn't speak about. He explained them just like, you have to do the research or else you're never going to make it. And in that sentence, there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think that's easy for him.
I think that's actually a really good point. I think the one thing he really emphasizes is, and I'm starting to come to the same conclusion, is it's, all of us are trying to essentially find that edge, and you're trying to do something. If you're trading, I mean, investing in learning businesses is a whole other dimension of this. But if you are working on trading and finding your edge, I mean, I wait till I tell you how my week went, because it went like shit, but it is what it is. And at the same time, I think what I've been looking back on and tracking is undeniable in a way, because you know it is historical. Obviously, I wish I had more data going back further now, because I had a bad week, and it was kind of an outlier based on the data that I have so far. But at the same time, too, it's really important data to get, because it gives you an idea of what a drawback can look like. But same thing going forward. It showed that the system had resilience and did really well afterwards. So I didn't play it well, which is
Yeah.
always part of it. You're never going to be perfect. It's always easy to look back on the data and say, this is exactly how things would win if you did this. But in real life, you can't always do it quite like that. So it's never going to be exactly the same, which is fine. I don't need it to be honest, based on the numbers I see. But
That is one of the tough things in this, what we are doing, I think, and which also I struggle with in terms of hit rate and stuff like that. Because what I do, what I see, my process might be correct, but I can still perform bad because of my handling of everything.
right.
And so what you have seen, I think you told me that it ended up, you saw that still it was kind of right, just you acted on it a bit wrong or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. So here, actually, let me just pull up the dash just so I can show
Yeah.
you guys, because it was a rough week. So, and you guys have been watching what I've been doing. I've been doing a very strict kind of trade. And if this doesn't end up working somehow for some reason, even though my data says it will work, I'll probably go back to that style, because that style was very successful, and it's a little bit more conservative, but but at the same time too, it performed really well. So, or it was performing well, and that was me as I was learning it. You know, if I looked back and kind of started doing the strategy I was getting towards in the last few weeks, and even though last week before wasn't a great week for me too, I've had kind of my first downfall here a little bit, but with that all being said, and then I switched back and forth between the strategies, so that didn't help. But yeah, I was down 7% at the end of last week, which it is a big drop for me, especially because I had a 3%, I think it was, or 2, or whatever it was the week before. But so I am using different screeners. I'm trying all these different things. I have my data going back, and it says to do very specific things based on what I've seen. And it's you guys, I know you've been watching for a while. My stuff's going to go up and it's going to go down, and it's going to be much more drastic than anything I've ever done before, because that's how this works. And the risk is high, but I really don't care. I'm truly at the point now I want to outperform, and what I'm doing right now will outperform if it just follows what it's been doing. It's incredible, the results from it. So I'm hoping I have found an edge by doing this, but right when I switched, I had 2 bad days in a row, which is fine. That's part of the system. It's built in, so I kind of expected it, but it made me hesitate for a sec. So of course I stopped. I just wanted to work on some of my screeners to make sure that I was adjusting for something, because one of the things that, and I had talked to you about this before, on my screener, remember how I said my list had exploded?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the biggest things with my screener is to get that list back down to focus on the leaders. I can't have that many stocks getting in there, because when we do have a drawback, a lot of the stocks that are going to fail would fall into my category of ones that I was looking at. So I got to get that list back down. So I worked on what my screening process was and making sure that I'm only focusing on the stocks that are still currently leading. So that's a big adjustment for me. Of course, when I switched over and I started using my new screeners, I tracked using my old screener and the new screener. And if I had used the new screener, I would have been well up. So it did continue to work. And of course, right when I hesitate, I'm like, let's just pause for a sec, because I don't want to take too many big losses in a row. And I want to make sure everything still looks like it's working. Of course, I missed the 2 recovery days. So it's bad timing, like I said, but
this is how it is. This is how it always is, right?
Right.
That's what I think I spoke about in, maybe not the last time, but the one before, that you can talk about that you try to block out emotions, and that you are going to handle everything, but the reality is not like that. The reality is that you do drag your history in with you in each trade, and if you have like your experience now, you're gonna be more hesitant going into the next one. And this is where I think Minervini and those are talking about the progressive exposure and all that stuff. I disagree a little bit with that method. I don't disagree with it, but I don't use it. I like to just stick with the positions and take the stops, especially in a market like we have done now. But the fact is, like, it's gonna affect you. I don't care what anyone say about how good they are to block out emotions. I understand what they mean, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and I think to your point too, it's finding something that you can work with that makes sense to you, because like some people use progressive exposure and are very successful with it. Others don't and are very successful with it. Like Q says, he always pretty much drops his whole position right when he goes in. He's not trying to scale in. He does it, and to me, that's easier for me to do. Now, if I was able to sit here 24/7 and watch things, maybe I would find I would like progressive just because of the timing that takes.
For sure. It would change if you can sit in front of the computer. That is one, two different things, though. You might be able to sit in front of the computer the whole day, but you don't want to. Like Kulamagi, his entire point was he didn't want to sit and screen for 2 hours, more than 2 hours, So for him, it wouldn't fit anyways. But Ariel Hernandez, for example, he sits the whole day, 8 hours, and watch stocks every day.
Oh, and you can tell he loves it. He's on X all day, posting. He does his live stream.
Obsessed about it.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out to Ariel for everything he puts.
Oh yeah. For sure. But it's just like it needs to fit your personality as well. Even if you have the opportunity to do so, people might not be a fit for it,
Right. But with that being said,
and I have to add also, Dane, that in the book, this is what Kulamagi said made him lose half of his account because he got unfocused,
Yeah.
So
there's got to be a euphoria feeling when you hit 100 million.
Yeah, and he thought he could do anything, and then he started to spend even less time in front of the computer. He didn't have his finger on the pulse anymore, and that was his reflection about what happened when he lost half his account.
Yeah, I mean, and after you have once you get to the point too where you have like an incredible run like that, it's hard to think that you need to adjust or do anything different. But the market doesn't always stay the same. There is times you have to adjust. I found that probably going forward, there's going to be periods where the best thing I can do is just not trade. And it's really hard because the data also says to trade every day. But that's currently. And there's going to be just like a bad year. Like if it's 2022, there's probably going to be a long period where it's almost best just to stay out of the markets. And I'll have to figure out what kind of rules I want to play with on the more market strength side. I mean, I keep track of my market strength. I'm comparing everything in terms of like when there's good days, when there's bad days. And with my system now, I have to be careful because there is down days in the market, but the stock that I would have chose kills it. So I think even on down days, I need to pay attention. But on a down day, you might want to look for a little bit more, like, that really strong opening push or a catalyst or something like that, because, you're going against the grain on those days. And sometimes I think those are the best winners, because on a day where everything else is down, but one stock has like a great earnings or something, everyone piles into that one because there's nothing else to do that day.
Yeah, you get a lot of people interested at least. And also a lot of people is going to put that stock on their list because it shows relative strength.
Right. And I think
which can do like, then it can have a good follow-up day or whatever,
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's been exciting. It was a tough week mentally, just because I played it like so shitty. But Friday was I had a bit of a recovery actually on Friday. Friday was okay for me.
Yeah.
And I even messed up. I told you, I had these different screeners up, and of course, I'm just about to buy, and I pull up the wrong screener and pick the stock from that one. So then once I'm in it, I'm like, oh my god, I picked the wrong stock. I'm like, you idiot. But it worked okay. Luckily, all my
Yeah, it
screeners are
worked
still decent. It's not like it was a bad screener. It just wasn't the
Yeah.
main one I was using at the time. So,
Yeah.
it worked out okay. I immediately moved up to break even my stop loss because I'm like, I made a mistake, so let's immediately just take the risk off. Luckily, it was up right away, so I was like, all right, let's take risk out of this equation. And
Yeah.
and it did pull back, and I kept moving my stop loss up just so I'm like, let's just get a win. Let's just take a win, even if it's, and it only ended up being like 2% or something, which is fine. I don't care.
But when we talk about progressive exposure and all that stuff, if you don't use that, what you just said, I think is equally important to get a win, to get the
Yes.
first win. Just make sure you take the profit. I know a lot of people say like you shouldn't care about your E&L and all that stuff during the year, but at the same time to feel like, okay, I got a little bit back on this one, to get back on a horse again, that's equally important, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So it is important as well. You need to find a balance, but as soon as you can get back on a good position, the better it is, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is it's such a trick because a lot of the stocks I look at do have, they either drop off the opening and then they recover really strong, or they go up a lot, pull back, and then recover strong. I mean, occasionally you get that one day where it just rips all day, and it's just a great stock. It's the right choice. But
Yeah.
on those days where things are choppy, especially in high ADR stocks like you and I are looking at, what's the best way to stay in without always getting chopped up? Like there's a real art to it in terms of understanding that process and being able to mentally handle that as well, and do what the numbers tell you to do. So,
Yeah.
like I said, that's gonna be the focus going forward. Hopefully, because this strategy, like I said, has big swings in it. I've seen it up hundreds of percent, literally hundreds of percent.
You should probably start to focus on like monthly performance then, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe that
yeah.
would be easier.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea. It's just hard not to think about it because it's not like I don't
Yeah.
look at it daily. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, too, there's big pullbacks too. But the wins outperform. So I'm gonna stick with this for a while and just hope for the best. Oh, a NASCAR's in here. So,
Yeah, I saw a nice guy saying, morning guys, last week was the week small cap traders live for, but I messed it all up. Was literally in INHD at 124 Monday, and it runs to 66.
Yeah, I saw INHD that day. I had already taken a stock, and I was just messing around and looked at it. It's not like in my wheelhouse of things to take, but
And he did some math there,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is crazy.
yeah, no, that was a ridiculous stock. It was up at one point. I think it was up like over 4,000% that day.
Yeah.
But it was also super choppy, and I don't even know. Sometimes my broker is hard to get into something like that because there was big gaps in that stock that day where you couldn't. It would get halted because there were so many people buying into it. But it did have a catalyst and everything. So even though it was a really small cap, it was a trade. You could rock that trade. And yeah, you only need a couple of those to work out for you, and you'll be well off.
Easier
but-
said than done.
Yeah, of course. What do you call it though? Well, let's pull up PAVs. Now this is the one we chose here. This is a great looking chart. Oh, hold on here. It's let me there we go. Back to flip that around. So Johnny and I were thinking this is gonna go back to $26. I mean,
Yeah, easily.
easily. It's got to bounce
That's
from here.
Imagine quite a drop, if I can put it that way.
Imagine if you had just bought this in December. Would have been the right move. That would have been my pick, guys. I'm sure.
You would have bought there on,
I'd buy it
exactly there.
I buy it somewhere right here. Actually, I shoot for somewhere in here. You know, right almost at the high.
You know, out there, Dane, in the world, there is someone who did that.
I just hope they didn't hold it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, whatever. If you bought one share there, you know, it's only $1,000 you're out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just another example of. I mean, this is just a biotech that failed.
Yeah, and I saw, if I remember what I read correctly, it was based in USA, but the conversation on Yahoo was there was some Chinese owned again, so there is that the part as well. It looks like one of those classic charts that we have seen time and again here, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And NASCAR is saying, Dane, how does a conservative person change their mindset to allow the winners to run? You don't let the winners run, you are never going to get those home run trades to make up for the paper cut losses. This is a big issue that it's very hard to, like, there's a lot of strategies, right, in out there in like the literature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the best, of course, you have to read all those things, which I'm sure you have done, NASCAR. But to go back then and back test and try to find patterns and rules for yourself, it's what I have found that is the best, which is one way that now made me change from using simple moving average to exponential moving average, for example, because I saw that it worked better in terms of saving my profits in pullbacks and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, NASCAR. So to your point, so he said he actually played PAFs on Tuesday, so he actually got in on the day that this went kind of parabolic.
Yeah.
But so if I was in your shoes, you have to think, and this is just kind of what I've been doing. You gotta look at your trades. So if you're looking at biggest daily runners and that's what you're trying to trade, so real volatile stuff that can be up thousands and hundreds of percent, or drop 80% by the end of the day. You have to start to look for patterns in those stocks. So
yeah,
you have to think about it. The way I was rationalizing how I'm doing my trades and why you can use the data to efficiently follow it is everybody has their own niche in this market. All of us are doing similar things. So for instance, if I always am buying a similar stock, so you're talking about buying the high runner of the day, the stock that's just crazy, that it's kind of it's all speculation, but it's a trading zone. It's people are going nuts. They're trying to make money off momentum and off each other. If you're trading that every day, you need to start looking at, well, what are the different things you could have done that day? Where could you have bought? Where could you have sold? What is the best return? So look at all the different moving averages. Do you buy at the open? Do you buy at the 1, the 5, the hour? Do you buy on a certain VWAP pass? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You need to think about all those things. And ones, if you sell on all these different metrics, down a certain percent, down at different moving averages, whatever it is, start measuring all those metrics out and start making lists of these things. You need to figure out what your hit rate is on these. So let's say on average, all these crazy runners, you see something up 200%, you're like, that's the one I'm going in on. How often does that fail, and by how much does it fail? Does it fail, and how choppy is it? What is, if a stock's up 200%, does it pull back 50 and then go up 500%? Because obviously you can't sit in it for that 50%. So then you need to decide, you want to buy at the top of those things and then just set the stop loss, and you just have to hit winners and hope that you stay in it, or do you buy on the pullback? It's all different ways to do it. You just have to measure these things out. And if you can find something that starts to outperform, you can figure out, okay, well, if I set my stop loss, let's say, and these are really high risk stocks, so let's say you were able to set it at 10%, or I know that's high, but let's say you set it at 10%. If on average, you're able to stay in just 1 or 2 of these stocks with 10% stop losses, and it performs, 600-700% in a day, it would actually outperform even 10% drawbacks. You could have 5-10% drawbacks in a row, And then on day 6, you get one that's, you're up 300% and you make it all back. So even though that's a super choppy strategy, you could do it. So you just have to figure out, you got to measure in those. So when you're saying like, how do I stay in something? How do I conservatively, stay in these without letting it win? There's different ways to do it. You can have that larger stop loss, but you have to make sure that the numbers say that that's okay to do. There has to be a winner in there that will always outperform all those, big chunky losses. And it's not easy to do. Or just say, screw it, and set a really tight stop loss as soon as you get in. And if you get chopped out, you might get chopped out 30 times in a row for a 1% loss. But then one day you'll have that one that you hit it and you're up 100%. And it doesn't matter that you were down, 20 some percent by the time you hit it, because you're going to be up 100 at that point. So it's finding something like that's how you find your edge is just going over those little metrics and numbers and doing it consistently to find it.
I'm just playing around here, but I open up the 1 minute chart on INHD to look how it bounced on the averages that I'm using and stuff like that,
Yeah. What day was it that it jumped?
That was on Friday, I think. Yeah. No,
It was Wednesday or Tuesday, I think.
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, this is. I just wanted to pull that chart up.
Yeah, Monday. And do you have the 1 minute there, Dave?
Yeah, this is. It's up. I don't. It's probably coming up for you.
Yeah. So, and I don't know your exact strategy or something, Nashka, but you can see that it does follow the same rules actually. That it rests on, like if you decide, I think. On these quick ones, the advice is always to use the shortest EMA, right? And not the 21 probably, but if you had used 21 here as a rule, and let's say you bought on the gap up there, I don't know how to, see in the beginning, Dane.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use just like the 21 EMA, you would double your money before the bar closes below the 21 EMA, on the first try. And then I tried to put the anchored VWAP on a few of the highs here, and you get these clear breakouts above the anchored VWAP. And again, if you hold it and use the same rule there, you could have been successful. Easier in hindsight, of course, but this is probably how you have to look for patterns and support levels and things you can use for the next one.
Yeah, so, this is me just spitballing an idea. Obviously, this isn't going to work on all stocks, but like I look at this and I was like, well, what would be something, because you're saying I want to stay in for the whole move. So if you're looking at this chart, look at VWAP. I mean, the candles are all through VWAP, even way back here, 933. And I know that's early, but honestly, a lot of these stocks, if you want to get in, you got to get in quick. What did this open at? It opened at 111. So if you're at 111 here and you bought at this point, it's up 15%. So a stock like this could be on your radar. Now, let's say you were able to, maybe you couldn't, and the next time you see it is when it's up 60%. Now it's on your radar because this is a high-performing stock. And yes, it gaps quickly and it's hard to get in. But if you can get a buy anywhere in this candle here, it's gonna start to be bouncy. But if you could set it at break even here, and then, I'm not saying you're not going to get kicked out of this, but if you could set it at break even here and it bounces around a little bit, you might, let's say you could get in somewhere in here. Like, let's say you saw this and now you see it's halted. Now, if it's halted, that means, obviously no one's able to buy for a while. So you're just waiting. You're just waiting, refresh. That's all you're doing. You're sitting there refreshing, waiting for it to kick in so you can put a buy in quick. If you could get somewhere on the low side here, you might be able to survive some of these bounces. And then from that point on, once it starts to stay above VWAP, you notice it never crosses below VWAP for the rest of the day. And if you had held this for the end of the day, let's say you waited until it was consistently above VWAP. So let's say somewhere in here, now I know it's up a lot already, but let's say in here you bought. By the end of the day, if you held this, you still be up 1,000%.
You could
So-
also use, in your example there, you could have used the low of the candle as your stop, and it would have worked.
Yeah, anything. And I'm not saying that this would work all the time. I'm just saying, I look at this chart. What was something that you could have done to get in on? And there's a few things I see. Now, let's say, I don't know, out of 10 trades, it doesn't work. You get stopped out, it falls, it breaks, whatever. But my point being is, once again, you only need one of these. If you had bought somewhere in here and you got 1,000% return, like let's say you just held till end of day and sold to the end of the day, that's a 1,400% increase on that one move. I don't care if you take a bunch of 5% losses. Let's say you set your stop loss even on here at minus 5%. And you know, like Johnny's saying, you can get in on one of these different candles or whatever it is. You're gonna get chopped out of a bunch of these at 5%. But all you needed is one of these. Now you're up 1,400%. How many 5% losses can you take at 1,400 before you get back to what your original cost is? I bet it's a lot.
Then switch to the 5-minute chart because it gets clearer. You can use what is your red line?
It's a 10 for 5 minutes, so it's like 50 minutes, which is kind of a weird metric, but whatever.
Yeah, but on mine it's like it's still a 9, but on the 5-minute, it never closes below it before you are up 300%. You know.
Yeah, NASCAR's saying you could just if he's up, sell half at 100%, and then let the other half go. And if it hits 0, it wouldn't matter. It's still break even. Yeah, and it's like I said, if you're in here in these crazy long shots, I mean, we've all seen it. It doesn't happen often, but there's always each year there's like 4 or 5 of these stocks that hit a few 1,000% in a day. And if this is all you did was play these crazy names, you could hit the lotto on one of these, and it only takes one to even perform for the year. So,
and it's very simplistic to sit and look at this in hindsight, especially a stock that moves like this.
yeah.
But and this is not something I typically, touch.
Well, and reason is because your hit rate's going to be incredibly low doing this. But
yeah,
that's the point, is it's going to be low. That's why I said it doesn't matter how you do the strategy. You just have to figure out the math of it. Like, I was just curious. So let's say you don't look at stocks because you have this crazy high strategy where you're shooting for the moon here. Let's say you don't buy a stock unless it's up 100% for the day. So somewhere in here is the first time this is even on your radar, which gives you plenty of time to kind of watch and find that stock that you want to go in on the day. On these, let's say you buy in any of these areas, you got to find something where you can get like off one of the lows. And it's not that it's going to be easy to do, but if you can find something that could ever just keep you in these things, you just need one to work. And from that point on, even here, it's still. Why is this giving me periods? I'm giving periods. It's somewhere in the thousands of percents.
I bet if you do that, it will be fairly easy to find these stocks using all the tools you have available now to do the research.
Yeah.
And I assume you would find some patterns, like how many of the stocks that goes up 100% pulls back a lot in the same day, and put some parameters on and just start to track things. I assume you will find some patterns.
I think I remember looking at this stock, and the first time I saw it, it was at like $2.20, so it was already up like 100% at that point. And I think I just clicked on it to see it because I was like, oh wow, look at this. I'm just messing around looking at stuff, and from there it just goes crazy. I remember the next time I looked at it, it was up like 1,000%. I was like, oh my god, that stock took off. So I don't know. I mean, there's got to be something there. It's just tough.
Yeah. NASCAR is just saying, I have a full-time job, so only playing these simple parabolic runners 4 or 5 times a year can be a good strategy for me. Basically, a 2,000% runner in a day triggers parabolic strategy. With a full-time job, for me, this would be impossible to follow, because it has such violent moves. Like for each one of these, you will find like a lot that will pull back and get you stopped out, probably with a huge stop loss, I assume, because it would be a bit tricky to get into them you know, if you have full-time job as well. But I don't know your for me, with the time difference and all that's what I'm saying, you know, it would be too hard.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is trying to find a moving average or something. Like you see on my candle, the first time I see something tap and it just bounces perfectly is this 1045. This is the 5-minute candle, but it taps this 10 EMA moving average here. And whatever, you can do it on different time frames, whatever works for you. But my point being is, let's say the strategy always is on these days, if you can get it, you set your buy at that 10 EMA, and on this time it happened to be the very bottom of the candle, so it perfectly taps it and you get in on it. And when you buy it, you automatically set yourself up that your stop loss is like 0.1%, like or break even, whatever. It's like the exact same price. There's a chance that all you need is one of these to hit. Remember, there's like 260 trading days in a year. So, you know, let's say you only think you're going to hit one of these a year. You have to make sure whatever your stop loss is, if you're going to be that inaccurate, like let's say in 200 trades you might not hit something. It has to be, your stop loss has to be that low. So it had to be like 0.1% or something incredibly small. And I know a lot of those aren't going to work. But if one or two of them does, you're fine. So
he's asking if PAVS held the VWAP on Tuesday too. I'm just checking. It did break it a few times on the way up, but at the same time, then if you use that as a buy point when it crossed back up above it, from the first time it broke it properly and to the top, it's a 300% gain in a very short time, you know.
yeah, I don't know. Let me go back to the 1 minute here. I mean, possibly. It's so tough to say. What did this open at? 155. So,
But also there, Dane, if you use the 5-minute chart and you do like the EP strategy that Kulamagi and all those are testing, like you either take the 1 minute candle, like the when it breaks up above the first candle, or on the 5-minute chart, you do like the second 5-minute candle when it breaks above the first 5-minute chart. You take it and you put the stop either low of day or low of that candle. If you use the 5-minute here too, and you get in using that strategy, and I'm going to be a bit conservative, and then you sell again on the 9 EMA, you get 124%. You know,
yeah,
in that time.
yeah.
So for me, on those two that we have seen now, the 5-minute time frame is the clearer one that you should probably look into. But this will also evolve. Probably you're going to have big stop losses, which is where because you're going to get stopped out on a lot of these, I assume.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with a low hit rate strategy. You got to be really careful with having a high stop loss. Like I almost think it's implausible. Like when I think of a strategy, either your hit rate's really good and your stop loss can be bigger because your hit rate's good, you know, and it actually is a benefit to have it looser, or your stop loss has to be incredibly tight, because if your hit rate's low, you need to really hit your winners and make sure that those losers don't cut you apart before you can hit one. So it's definitely a high risk strategy. I mean, you know, and then you can get granular with this too. Like Q, for instance, would say like, okay, like let's say he's going to use the low of the previous candle as his out point, right? You could base, well, what how much, maybe you can't put 100% of your portfolio in on a move like this. And I don't know what you're trading, but I'm assuming if you're trading something like this, you're trying to take your whole account and, you know, skyrocket it. You know, maybe you only put it like a 20% position in because of what the risk loss is and the stop loss and what you want to be comfortable with. But even a 20% on 1,000% return is huge. So, I mean, what did this stock do if you had bought on a 5-minute here? You know, at the peak is 1,000, and I don't. Maybe your rule was get out if it. Even if
If
your
you
rules
sell,
get out
yeah,
if it
yeah,
crossed the 10, I mean that's still 140. So whatever.
exactly.
And
That's
I
what I
know you
was.
said did it hold VWAP? Even okay, let's say you held for V. Well, it did break here and
Yeah.
possibly here. So
But that candle that it breaks down, if you look 3 candles to the right of that one, it gets really tight and you get the breakout again. It offers another setup there, right?
yeah, and that's one thing too is like we're just talking numbers, but in just terms of general setups, like you do
Yeah,
start to
you
get
have
this
it.
nice consolidating pattern here.
Yeah,
Um,
you can jump back in.
yeah, so I don't. That's what I'm saying. There's so many little things, but what you need to what I would do if I was you is I would really start looking at like every day when you're going to buy something or what you would have bought, start tracking that. Go through all those different metrics we talked about. Look at those charts. Sit there and just focus on those charts. Go back to the day before. What was the best performer? What did that chart look like? How could you have gotten in? What would have made you notice that stock versus the other ones? You have to come up with something super consistent that you can repeat.
And also, then in the new book now, Market Wizard book, I've started to read the short bears chapter. His name is Lucas Friedrich or something like that. He talks about a strategy where he shorted like small caps, and it worked really great for him. And he found out a system where he could also take apart, because there was a lot of candidates, but he picked the right candidates, and he found out how you can do that because he learned what kind of news drove the move. And then he opened up also the SEC filings and read through because he said he saw so many false press releases and things that didn't match the SEC filings and stuff like that. And when he started to become an expert at this, it took him like 20 minutes to just go through everything and pick out the right candidates in a list of many. And his percentage gain since he started is over 1 million. I think it's something ridiculous. But he said something like he doesn't think they work so good anymore, that strategy. But my point was, if you can also research what kind of news that sends these stocks up, and then maybe refer to the SEC filings, and compare that to in the one you just in PAVS, it had that massive pullback as well. Why did that happen? And just try to figure out when the news is a bit more credible or not, maybe, and try to track stuff like that as well. It takes a little bit of time, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is you're strictly looking for the home run, which is fine, and you're not even looking for a home run; you're looking for a grand slam. But there, like I said, you just have to go through. You have to find something that you can reliably trust, and then you have to stick with it and make sure that the maths, as they say.
Yeah, a bit different than what we do, but I guess the principles are much the same.
I think the principles, no matter how you're trading, are the same. It's just whatever it is, you have to find that right adjustment of the variables that it works.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be to you. And to Johnny's point too, taking a second out of your day to look up. Like I remember the thing that INHD caught on my was that it was what do you call it? Going into AI or whatever. This is what it was. This news was like within minutes, or like it was like 3 hours, or like within the hour or something. I can't remember what it was, but this Inno Holdings enters development service agreement with AI service provider. That's when this took off. Is this news story right here? So there was something happening right when that took off. So doing that quick due diligence, especially on a stock like this that could be really crazy, and it's up by 100%. Well, why? Is it just pure momentum, someone pumping and dumping it? or is there anything going on there? I'm sure if you just screen by that, it would help at least eliminate a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know
But
if there's.
the trick here will either way be to find a way to balance everything, because I can only assume that this can drop very, very quickly and even skip your stop loss. And
Yeah, this
what do
gets
you call
halted
it?
a bunch on the way down.
Yeah.
So you got to just put a
Don't
stop
be
loss
too
in.
greedy. You're talking about like big percentage gains, but being too greedy in these moves, I think, can come back and kick you.
Yeah, well, I would actually say you have to be greedy. If you're gonna do this kind of strategy, you have to shoot for the fences, because otherwise, you're not gonna make it. Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna get
but-
cut
but-
apart or take big losses way too often for this to work.
Yeah.
It's kind of
But what I meant, like, follow the rules that you have set in for example, in some kind of EMA or something, and never ever try to hold through it, you know?
Oh yeah. In terms of, yes, like in terms of where you put your stop, that has to be locked in. You can't mess with your numbers when there's a potential to take a huge hit, especially with a super low hit rate like I would imagine this has.
Yeah. Nash is saying, thanks guys, I know I went off the rails with my comments. Just last week was absolutely wild. No,
Yeah, there was some wild
problem,
trading
Nash.
last week.
Yeah.
So.
But just post comments. We love that stuff when we get a bit, you know, we talk about the same stuff every time. So it's good to have someone else to come in and, you know, sidetrack us a bit.
And so you know, I do gotta get going just because I got stuff to do today. So sorry, I know the stream was a little bit shorter and we started a little bit late, but I was up late with the Knicks, so I was like, I'm gonna sleep in for an extra half hour here.
I just want to, like, the Thursday and Friday, of course, good days in the market. My experience on Friday was that it was tricky to navigate. I saw a lot of good, solid breakouts, especially in the semiconductor space. I didn't manage to get into them. The only position I hold right now is Dave. That I love that chart actually, but it was a very wild candle on Friday. So I'm not sure what Monday is going to bring for Dave, but I'm not going to be able to trade actually because I'm away for work. So I've raised my stop to a little bit above break even. So I'm trying to just secure my position there. But on the QQQ, sorry?
This is a wild chart, dude.
It's a wild chart, but look at the weekly.
I know you can look at the weekly, but holy shit. This thing is all over the place. No, I get what you see. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I like that base there. But my point was, like, if you looked at the QQQ, I wanted the Friday to finish above the 9 EMA, which it did, and it also finished above the anchored VWAP from the previous swing high. And then in the weekend, we have gotten some tweets again from the Donald Trump, and let's see what happens. Maybe they finally can get that peace deal and open up the strait again. But it's going to be, once again, we need to wait and see, of course. But I did like how Friday ended, because it went all the way down. It was ugly in the beginning, and then it came back. So I found that to be a little bit of a strong sign, you know.
Yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, there's so much. Hopefully this Iran deal is real, and we can get out of this.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's the most accurate, but then the way this guy texts out, it's just insane. Like, it's...
Yeah. I saw already some comments that it could drag out even still, but I guess the little bit of a different now was that it was more confirmed from the other side as well that they were actually gonna sign this deal, but I've stopped believing anything. I will believe it when I see it, you know. But it doesn't really matter that part. If he tweets out something like that, it does have an effect on market.
Yeah, for sure.
And it came yesterday, so the market has not opened yet, you know. I'm just trying to see, in terms of what is opened, for example, Bitcoin and stuff, it has no effect. Not
Yeah.
that you can measure it on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is just is nothing right now.
Yeah, so just before we get off here, one obvious big thing on Friday was SpaceX IPO'd.
Yeah, SpaceX,
$1 trillion company now, just poof, $1 trillion. And it's got 5% float, which is hysterical to me. Because it's like this, that's like the most BS form of public ever. Like the stock price moves on only 5% of the shares right now. You know how insane that is? Makes zero sense. But I get why everyone wants to play it, and you know, when this thing plummets to like, I don't know, whatever it plummets down to, because this is gonna drop. There's no way it holds up here. It might recover at some point and become like a really viable company. I'm not saying in the long run this won't be successful. SpaceX has huge potential, but this whole first day was just the trader's dream. Like there's so much you can learn from this chart because this is such a crazy IPO. Lance actually did a cool video on where he talks about like all these different strategies he has for IPOs. That's on X and I'm sure on YouTube, whatever. But a wild day. So we'll see. You could actually see the markets were like anticipating this coming out. Like everything kind of stopped for a second. Like the index is all kind of pulled back for a second. Everyone's getting their funds ready to see what's going to happen with SpaceX.
Oh, and if you look at the group, aerospace and defense, they are down like above 10%, all of them. So I assume profit taking to get into SpaceX or something like that.
Yeah, everything. There was a few that all kind of got kind of rocked that were all leading up to the anticipation of this. And then the only other thing I wanted to just, where is Bitcoin at today?
It's flat.
Yeah, it's moved up a little. It's, maybe.
Yeah, which is interesting because it seems hard to break that 60K area.
Yeah, for sure.
So it is something there. I did go into MicroStrategy on the way up last time, and it was one of my best trades for the 2026. So even though we have talked bad about Bitcoin for a while now, if maybe this is now on the way up again, in terms of the general market, it does not perform well right now, but there are opportunities still. So it's something you should always keep an eye on.
Right. All right. NASCAR said go Knicks, NASCAR. If you're a fan, man, go Knicks. Johnny, good luck on Tuesday. Hope Norway pulls it off for you.
I hope he's going to get a good start.
Hopefully, we have some good weeks going forward here. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because I did change up the strategy, but like I said, the potential to do well is there. So hopefully, I think your advice, Johnny, is actually really solid. I need to focus on, because it's going to be big swings, I need to focus on the weeks and the months and see how things go. Don't let a day or two kill you.
Yeah. But one more thing, like I did the scans before the stream today, and the pullback we have been through now has given me a lot of good names that I really like them, and they are not extended anymore, So it could also, like, this is maybe the time that you want to get in on things like this coming week.
Yeah, just like I was saying to you, I think it's been a very healthy pullback. I think it was totally. It was. We were up 30% from the low there with Iran going on, so it was totally needed.
And the candle on Tuesday, it does look like that found kind of bottom in the base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed. So, all right. Well, once again, hope everyone has a good week. NASCAR, thanks for coming in and talking with us. Good luck on your strategy, man. I know that's a wild one. I hope you're able to figure out something where you can nail a couple of those a year, dude. It'd be sick.
Yeah. For sure.
we can all join each other on our yachts one day.
No, that's what Kulamagi did wrong.
True. Yeah, don't buy a yacht and
Yeah.
keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything else. So everybody, enjoy your week. Looks like I don't know about you, Johnny, but the weather here is looking way better. It's gorgeous here. Today's beautiful.
It's a bit rough here still, but okay.
Yeah, well, we were hot. Oh my God, I think it was Friday. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it was like over 90, and humidity was like at like 90%. It was such a gross day outside, but it's all good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I'll take the heat.
Yeah.
So, but all right, everybody,
All right.
have a good one.
See you then. Bye bye.